So we discussed that how the BH3 protein actually regulates the cell death and the cell survival part, and once the BH3 protein actually sequesters মানে আটকে রাখে, actually sequesters the BCL2 protein, the Bax is free. The Bax is now ready to form oligomers, and it forms oligomers on the surface of the outer mitochondrial membrane, as a result of which cytochrome C leaks out. Now the question is that what if the cytochrome C leaks out? Cytochrome C leaking এর সাথে কি এমন কি হলো যে cytochrome C leaking out হলো and then the apoptosis starts. So now let's move further down. If we look into this particular picture of Bruce Alberts, you can see that these are the inactive members. So Bax is found remaining attached to the mitochondrial membrane. Bax can remain attached to the mitochondrial membrane as monomers, or it might be present in the cytoplasm as monomers. This particular information differs from book to book. In some books it is written as they exist as monomers in the cytoplasm, while in some books it is written as they exist as monomers in the mitochondrial membrane. So this varies. Whatever the concept is, in the monomeric form, you can see they are inactivated by the BCL2 family of protein. The moment apoptotic stimuli is perceived, a BH3 protein is activated. It sequesters the BCL2 protein, and thus Bax oligomerization is achieved and cytochrome C comes out. Now, this is one part of the story. Now, let us look into these molecules present within the mitochondria. Within the mitochondria, the red colored circles is cytochrome C. But as you can see, there are 2 or 3 more proteins which are shown in color but have not been named. They are known as SMAC or Diablo. SMAC, the full form is second mitochondrial activated protein. I cannot exactly remember the full form. I'll later know you. So the second protein that comes out is SMAC or Diablo, and HRT or OMI2. Let me repeat. I'm repeating once more that whenever the Bax has formed pores, apart from cytochrome C that is coming out, 2 more different proteins are seen to come out. These proteins are named as SMAC or Diablo. SMAC or Diablo and HTRA2 or OMI. So they are also released from the mitochondrial intermembrane space. So from the mitochondrial intermembrane space, 3 proteins have been released, cytochrome C and the remaining 2, just now I said. In the cytoplasm, there is 2 important proteins present in its inactive form. One is procaspase 9 and the other is IAP, inhibitor of apoptotic proteins. In the cytoplasm, IAP binds to another cytoplasmic protein known as APAF, apoptotic protein activating factor. So there are 3 sets of protein with 2 different locations. From the intermembrane space, cytochrome C, SMAC or Diablo, and HTRA2 is released. In the cytoplasm, there is procaspase 9, there is IAP, and there is APAF. In the cytoplasm, IAP and APAF are together associated. IAP full form is inhibitor of apoptotic protein, and APAF full form is apoptotic protein activating factor. So this is APAF. The moment from the intermembrane space, SMAC and Diablo are released. Let me go to that picture. The moment SMAC and Diablo are released, the moment SMAC or OMI is released, what it does, the IAP protein remains associated with the APAF. they remove these IAP proteins or the inhibitor of apoptotic proteins. The moment the inhibitor of apoptotic proteins are removed, APAF1 is now free. So once APAF1 is free, what does it do? Now let's move to this picture. See, this is APAF1. SMAC or OMI has removed the IAP bound to it. Now, along with SMAC and OMI, cytochrome C had also been released. If you look into the structure of APAF, APAF has three important parts. So this is basically the structure of APAF, and if you look into the structure of APAF, you can see the three important parts. There is a WD repeat. This is a sequence. And there is a small red circle known as card. So if you remember, we saw this kind of a signal in the structure of procaspase 9. So we are seeing a card here also, and we now saw a similar structure in APAF also. So there is a card. The full form of card is caspase activity recruitment domain. APAF1, if you look into the structure, contains three functional subunits. It has an N-terminal card domain, a central nucleotide binding domain, and 12 to 13 WD40 repeats at the C terminus. As I said, so it has a WD40 repeats in the C terminus. It has a card domain and a central nucleotide binding domain. Initially, in its inactive form, it is present in the cytoplasm in this manner and remains associated with IAP. The moment SMAC or OMI removes the IAP, we get a APAF which looks like this. Along with OMI and SMAC, cytochrome C had also leaked out. So this cytochrome C now binds to the nucleotide binding domain. This cytochrome C now binds to the nucleotide binding domain, which was masked. You can see it was masked. In presence of cytochrome C, there is a structural change. In presence of cytochrome C, a structural change in conformation has occurred. The conformation has changed, and the masked caspase activity recruitment domain. In this caspase activity recruitment domain, cytochrome C has entered, as a result of which the caspase recruitment domain has been exposed. Okay, now what happens? 7 such molecules, again repeating, 7 such molecules combine together to form a wheel-like structure. You can see the structure and you can see how they have arranged themselves. The WD40 repeats are on the outside of the wheel. You can see the outside of the wheel, and the CARD domains are on the inside of the wheel. From books to books, the nomenclature differs. In most cases, this is known as the apoptosome or apotosome complex or the wheel of death. So this apotosome complex or the wheel of death is now ready. And this is just like death-inducing signaling complex where procaspase 8 was brought in and cleaved to give active caspase 8, caspase 9. Procaspase 9 is recruited in this wheel to give rise to active caspase 9. Let's look into this picture. So this is the wheel of death. Procaspase 9 is recruited. How does the procaspase 9 react to this apotosome? As you can see, the apotosome had a central card wheel. We saw it in this structure. It has a central card domain, and the prodomains of procaspase also have card. So it is in this Bruce picture, it is a blue color, And we have the card here in the apoptosome. And see, the procaspase 9 are being recruited here by their card domain. Via the domain-domain interaction, the procaspase 9 is activated. Once the procaspase 9 is activated, we get active caspase 9, just like we got active caspase 8 in the extrinsic pathway. Once we get active caspase 9 in the intrinsic pathway, active caspase 9 can again cleave caspase 3. So mode of caspase 3 is generated, and caspase 3 moves to the or translocates to the nucleoplasm to cleave ICAD from CAD. As a result, again, the final step of apoptosis is completed. If you look into this picture, let me show you another three-dimensional picture of apoptosome. So this is how the wheel looks like. This is the dome. So if we think of the wheel as a 3D picture, see, this is the wheel of apoptosome. The card domains are in the center. And this is how the procaspase 9 are being recruited. As you can see, in this book, the apoptosome complex includes the procaspase 9. So this is a book-to-book variant of the nomenclature. But in the previous two slides I had shown you, procaspase 9 was not a part of the apoptosome. But since I was a part of this, I had done my research in this sector. In fact, we go by this nomenclature that this is the apoptosome. This is Bruce Alberts. So prior to the recruitment of procaspase 9, the wheel is known as apoptosome, not after procaspase 9 is recruited. So you can see this is the wheel, and this is how procaspase 9 is recruited to give active caspase 9, which then activates caspase 3 and downward cleavage of DNA. So this is good. So the intrinsic pathway. Now let us summarize by one example and bring a panoptic view of how the two signals, the extrinsic signal and the intrinsic signal, can be integrated. For example, from the death receptor pathway, there is an extrinsic pathway and caspase 8 is activated. The amount of caspase 8 expression is not enough to initiate apoptosis or to initiate caspase 3 activation. So what happens? Activated caspase 3 cleaves BID. The moment BID is activated, it's a BH3 only member, it blocks BCL2. Since BID has blocked BCL2, BAX is free. BAX forms oligomers on the mitochondrial membrane. As a result of this oligomerization, from the mitochondrial membrane, cytochrome C leaks out. Along with cytochrome C, IAP and SMAC or OMI leaks out. OMI or SMAC binds with the cytoplasmic protein, OMI or SMAC binds with the cytoplasmic protein, right, IAP, which till then was inhibiting APAF. The moment OMI and SMAC binds with IAP, APAF is free. APAF interacts, this is APAF, interacts with cytochrome C to expose its card domain. 7 monomers of APAF form a wheel-like structure with the card domain inside. This is the wheel of death or the apoptosome. If you look into the three-dimensional picture, this is the hub. Let me magnify this one. So this is the hub. The central region is the hub. This is the hub zone. So this is the hub. So this is the apoptosome or the wheel of death. And to this apoptosome is recruited the procaspase 9. The procaspase 9 interacts with the apoptosome via its card domain. As a result of the domain-domain interaction, procaspase 9 is activated to produce active caspase 9, which now then proceeds to activate caspase 3. So this is the intrinsic pathway of apoptosis. Now moving into the first day's class, where I had said that Once we do both the extrinsic and the intrinsic pathway, I'll come back to the work of Horvitz and his work of C. elegans. Now, since we have heard of the proteins, we know what are the intrinsic proteins. When Horvitz worked with C. elegans, he saw that only the intrinsic pathway was operative in C. elegans. Now you compare. So we have these BH3 regulators. The comparative protein in nematode is EGL1. The BH3 inhibitors can inhibit BCL2. The compatriot or the counterpart protein is CD9 in C. elegans. Once BCL2 is inhibited, BAX is activated. BAX activation, cytochrome C leakage, and SMAC and diablo leakage. SMAC is inhibiting IAP. Cytochrome C activates APAF1. The counterpart of APAF1 is CD4 in C. elegans. In presence, once APAF1 is activated with cytochrome C, APAF1, once cytochrome C is activated with APAF1, cytochrome C then APAF1 oligomerizes to form a wheel-like structure or apotosome. Once the wheel is formed, caspase-9 is recruited to the apotosome to give active caspase-9. So the caspase-9 counterpart for the C. elegans is CD3. Caspase-9 then proceeds to give caspase-3. Here, CD3 is enough to cleave all the cellular targets and apoptosis. This was a much complex mammalian process. This is a very simple nematode process. And these were the counterpart proteins that was observed in C. elegans and compared with the mammalian pathway. So this was what Horvitz's initial work was. Now we move to a bit of the last portions. So this is another picture. BCL2, OMI-HR2, SMAC diablo comes out. Cytochrome C, BAX oligomerization, cytochrome C leakage. Now here if you look, there is another important picture. There is a relation between, I said that cell cycle and apoptosis is related. There's a bridge. So the P53 maintains that bridge. If you see the importance of P53, it's very clearly shown that P53 is a transcriptional activator, or it can activate certain proteins, BAX, NOXA, PUMA. BAX is itself a killer protein. It can increase the transcription of BAX. NOXA and PUMA are only BH3 proteins. These are the regulator proteins. Activation of any of these three red boxes actually automatically suppresses BCL2 expression. There is another transcriptional target of P53. It can inhibit IAP. So P53 overexpression can also inhibit IAP so that APAF is free. And it has been seen, it's a very recent finding, that P53 protein at times binds to certain survival proteins and prevents them from binding to the apoptotic members. So the role of P53 is huge, as you can see, because it plays a very big role in cell cycle. Via the P21 pathway, it can arrest, or via any of these pathways, it can induce cellular death. Now, apart from P53, there are three more important signals which helps in cellular survival. One is if there is an increased expression of BCL2 family members. This happens if a mitogenic stimulus is received by the cell. Mitogenic stimulus means it can be a growth factor or any factor which induces the cell to proceed for mitosis. So if a mitogenic stimulus is received by the cell, then the cell proceeds for apoptosis and it is seen, the cell proceeds for survival and it's seen that the apoptotic proteins are downregulated. So if there is a mitogenic signaling, we'll be doing this signaling in a signaling class. It goes through MAP kinase pathway. So if there is a mitogenic or a survival signaling that is favoring mitosis, if there is a survival signaling there that is favoring mitosis, then the BCL2 expression is heightened. Second, there are plenty of ways in which the only BH3 members are inactivated. I had shown you how bad BEAM, BMF are inactivated. So they are preferred and kept in that inactivated way by not a lot of survival factors. So this survival signaling proceeds through the AKT pathway. So if there is a survival signal through the AKT pathway, then the BH3 families are switched off. If survival proceeds through the mitogenic pathway, then the killer family, the BAX, is switched off. As I said, there are certain other survival factors that can activate the, that can result in inactivation of the anti-IAPs. That means SMAC or Diablo. If by chance there is a sudden leakage of cytochrome C, and SMAC and Diablo comes out, even though there is no prior apoptotic signaling. In such a case, these anti-IAPs can bind to SMAC and Diablo and prevent SMAC and Diablo. These anti-IAPs can bind to SMAC and Diablo and prevent them from releasing or interacting with IAP. So these are certain pathways through which the survival of the cell is maintained. And so this is one of the survival pathway. You can see this is a growth receptor pathway. These are various interlinked signaling molecules. You can see AKT. So if AKT is activated, it inhibits BAD. It can inhibit BEAM. P53, GSK3 is activated. P53, MDM2 is activated. So if there is a survival signal, the survival signal can come from a variety of pathways. So if there is a survival signal, all signals actually target the anti-apoptotic or the killer proteins of the apoptotic BCL2 family or the regulator proteins of the BCL2 family. So as a result of this, usually the cell has a tendency to survive. Death is actually initiated if there is a DNA damage or if the cellular life of a cell has come to its end. Death is not a natural option. The natural option for a cell is to survive. Death is only inflicted when the cell wears off, when the DNA has become too much shortened, or if the damage is too grave within the cell, then only death is initiated. Or the natural choice of evolution of nature is always cellular survival. So there are plenty of survival pathways operating within the cell to ensure that the cell survives by actually inhibiting the pro-apoptotic members of the BCL2 family and the regulators of the BCL2 family.